Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another great episode of the Choking Hazard Podcast. We got a great episode planned for you today. Today, we're getting a chance to sit down with Nease, who's rounding out the finals for the Grand Prix of the Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro Championships happening in Toronto, Ontario on August 14th. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're looking for more great interviews with coaches, athletes, different events, technique breakdowns, controversy, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like our stuff. We really do appreciate the support and we want to keep providing you with more great content. Today's episode has been brought to you by Spirit Leaf Waterdown, located at 64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario. If you're looking for Canada's top cannabis brand, look no further than Alex and his crew, and they're going to be able to help you out with all your needs and accessories as far as cannabis goes. Just make sure you like them and us on Instagram, and you're going to save money every single time you shop there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember, Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro Championships, August 14th, and we'll see you soon on the mat. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Here we are for another episode of the Choking Hazard Podcast, and we're doing our interviews for the Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro Championship, which is happening August 14th, 7 o'clock in Toronto, Ontario. And we are super pumped because today we are sitting down with one of the last competitors of the main event, actually, which is Nease. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We are super excited to chat with you today because we've been listening to everybody talk, and everybody they're going to win this event apparently. So, which is great because we got everybody competing against each other. There's no stones left unturned. We're a week out. How are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling a little bit strong, and I'm feeling strong and feeling good. I'm feeling like I got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. I've seen some of the other interviews, and I feel like I'm the only one who nobody really knows who I am from the card.
Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name.
Which is basically what I'm aiming to come out to do this coming Sunday.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like up until now, everybody we've been talking to, everybody's worried about Dynas. Everybody's worried about Dynas. And again, I'm not trying to put anything bad respect on Dynas's name at all. He's a great competitor, been around the world competing. He's just been competing recently in Orlando. So guys got street cred, whatever we call it. But again, like nobody's been talking about you. Like you've been in the game for a long time and nobody's been talking about you.
Okay, so fun fact, so I watched your interview with Joey and with Andrew as well, and everybody seems excited to face off with Dynas. The reason I'm excited to face off with Dynas is because Dynas and I actually came up in the same academy together. So I started at like the tail end of 2006, beginning of 2007. So it's been like 15 years I've been doing jiu-jitsu, and we both started with a guy named Scott Schilling. So yeah, the like old school Scott Schilling was a great coach, very intense guy, very intense training room. But Scott actually rented out mat space from a judo club called Shinbukan, and that's where Dynas had his black belt from, and then he started coming to Scott's classes. And I was like, oh, okay, judo guy, whatever, this is jiu-jitsu though. But his judo was just so damn strong that the day he learned how to sprawl, because he was used to that like upright judo stance, he would just he came in as like a competitive athlete already as a teenager, and I was like an 18-year-old punk kid who used to like binge drink on weekends. So I was like not prepared for that level of athleticism. So 15 years later, with a clean diet, we both have our own academies, healthy lifestyles, all that stuff. I'm really excited to square off against them at this point of the game and bring that full circle to see where we both come.
Yeah, no, that's exciting, especially like obviously like with the jiu-jitsu community being so small at the beginning, especially with the Scott Schillings, Shaw Franco's, all the different academies, especially at the beginning of that ecosystem, has now expanded so far, especially when we have guys in Oshawa, Pickering, Newmarket, all over the place now. It's pretty exciting to see all these old academy guys that used to train together. Now they're starting to get their own schools, and now it's coming full circle, which is fun.
100%.
100%. So you mentioned you were training with PJ recently. So how's that going? And is there anything specific training wise that you're doing to prepare for this now 4-man bracket?
So recently, I'm sure you guys saw Mikey Musumeci was on the JRE. And one thing that Mikey said that I think a lot of people found surprising, because some people brought it up to me, was that he doesn't train. Well, obviously, he's made the rounds. I dropped off at or I stopped off at AOJ back when he was still kind of like, like visiting AOJ back then, and stuff like that. But Mikey does a lot of his training with recreational people and just teaches them how to beat his game and then like workshops from there. So I have a strong contingent of like blue and purples at my gym who are athletic freaks in their own special domain. And what I tend to do is teach them all of my best tricks. I'm not the kind of coach who like hides anything. I teach them all the concepts and everything up front. I go, this is how you dismantle all the trickery that I'm trying to throw at you. And then once they do that, then I have to tighten up my game and figure out those puzzles back. The difference is, and I remember when you guys interviewed Joey, Joey said, he said he's only about 150 pounds. I saw him compete this past week and actually is a lot scrappier than I thought. He had a pretty good match with Darson there that went back and forth with no subs. So clearly a tough guy to finish because Darson is no slouch. But he said that he was rolling with a lot of middleweights to get used to this. I roll with a lot of like super heavies, and I work my strength against the super heavies, and then I pick my.
Oh yeah, I can roll with bigger people too.
Yeah, exactly. And then like I grab my 135 pound like fruit fly, and I just try to beat them on speed. And I do things like that to try to refine my game as much as possible. In terms of training with PJ, I love training with PJ. He's my professor. He's who gave me my black belt. But for that, it was more workshopping strategies with his super fight against Greg King, which I'm excited to watch as well. And just drilling and making sure that all the holes are patched in preparation for Sunday.
Yeah, especially when you look at like the card, obviously, is how huge it is, because it keeps seems like adding more fights every day, and I'm like, I can't keep up with it all. Even
I know,
like we're involved in this whole thing. We have to commentate too, and I was like, God damn, I got so much research to do this week, like just on different guys and all that, which is great. Sure. But like, is there any kind of matches, obviously other than PJ and Greg, are there any other matches that you're kind of excited to watch?
Yes, two black belts that I love watching and training with as well, and I want to train with them more. I saw that Andre Grambois got added to the card.
Yeah,
he's a phenomenal coach and competitor. And Micah Breakfield from 10th Planet, same thing. So I went to the Mike Malott event that PJ hosted at Global Martial Arts, where they did a big fundraiser, which was a fantastic thing. They had so many people on the mats. And I rolled back to back with Andre and Micah. And the styles are so contrasting, which is really entertaining. When I roll with Andre, I know everything he's doing, but his timing and his pressure is so perfect that it's very, very hard to get an inch even on any of his combinations to fight back. And he's just got such an iron will. And then when I roll with Micah, I have no idea what he's doing. He does like backwards jiu-jitsu. Like you get him inside control, he gives you his back so he could do some like weird rolling thingy, and then he has you in a twister. So they're like vastly contrasting styles. So I'm interested to see both of them. I actually faced the guy that Micah's facing this past weekend at the Submission Arts United. I got the better of Julius in both of our matches. So I do think that's going to be a hard day for Julius, because Micah's a little bit bigger than me, and he's definitely a little bit trickier than I am. But it'll be interesting to see how those styles clash, because Julius is he's like a tough, like MMA-ish kind of guy, and Micah has that MMA background as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they square off there.
Yeah, Micah has a very unorthodox jiu-jitsu style, I guess you can say, to say the least.
So
there's like highlights of him online just like doing that, and then he's like on someone's back, and you're just like, what the fuck just happened?
100%. It's very, very, very unorthodox, very hard to keep up with. And I also wanted to toss those up because everybody kept saying Darson and Wheeler, and obviously we all want to see Darson and Wheeler. But yeah, I'm interested to see how Andre's matches are, because he's very precise, and Micah, just to see that creativity flow.
Yeah, it should be organized chaos for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. So when you kind of look at, obviously this is a 4-man bracket now, does that kind of change your strategy that you might have had as far as like how you might have approached a certain individual, or do you kind of have the same game plan for everybody still?
I still have the same game plan for everybody. It's just now that there's one man gone. It doesn't change a whole lot. I mean, I've always been a student of the game ever since like purple belt. Like I used to sit there like and watch 8 hours straight of Worlds with a Word doc and be like, Felipe Pena match 2 minute 3:30, how to transition from like standing 50-50 to X guard and all this stuff. So I've been watching these guys matches on Flow, on YouTube. I watched Joey this past weekend. And at the black belt level, I mean, you got to be ready for everything. They're going to be dynamic. People are saying like, oh, look out for Dynas's judo. But I've seen matches where Dynas intentionally puts himself in 50-50 to go play that game. So, you can't just say like, oh, he's a judo black belt, he's going to be going for the takedowns. These guys are good everywhere. So I'm going to be prepared for that, but I'm also anticipating a lot of their A game, particularly if they get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. When you kind of look at, obviously this being the first Ace Jiu-Jitsu championships that they're going to run, and obviously the potential for a lot more shows, how important do you think it is, especially for you to perform on this show, and then obviously next opportunity coming down the line?
Oh, it's huge. I think going with the sub-only format is good. I heard that some of the other super fights are going to be points oriented. I'll be completely honest. I think that's a mistake. And the Submission Arts United tournament that I did, I got the most submissions in the division. Unfortunately, I lost an overtime round to Max Lee, who is no slouch. Max like absolutely cleaned house in Ontario Open Nogi. But it was vastly more entertaining. Like in my first match, I had 8 submission attempts to the other guy's 3 submission attempts. And within a 6-minute black belt match, you rarely see that if there's points. If there's points, there's like nobody loosens up that much to let the submissions fly. So I really enjoy the fact that the main card for this is going to be submission only. I think that's smart. I think they should all be sub only. And my only true regret, to be honest with you, is that this is gi and not no gi. Because I do much prefer competing in no gi, but I'm excited to showcase some of my gi stuff on a stage.
Well, I know talking to Fernando, the game plan is, especially with the newer cards coming down in the future, they will do obviously no-gi as well. And then they also want to have like a female only card at one point. I think that's going to be a huge thing, especially if they can get enough female competitors. It'd be great. Yeah. So
yeah, no doubt.
What are some of your thoughts on the like Ace format right now? So like you're in the 4-man bracket. They're using an IBJJF rule set, but at the same time, like what you were saying is, hey, like, you winning by advantage isn't going to get weighted as much as, let's say, somebody winning by submission. So like, what are your thoughts on that process? And obviously that's going to change your strategy a bit as well. You're more of a submission hunter yourself. So that kind of plays into like your strategy of what you want.
Yeah, I think the more they incentivize the sub, the better. So they are weighing submission victories as more important, which I think should always be the case. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I'm really not a fan of the points. I understand the whole like reason for the points. And if anything, the only thing it negates really is it kind of takes the takedowns out of the game, because nobody's kind of incentivized to rush for those 2 points. But even in the point system regularly, nobody's really that incentivized for takedowns. They're exhausting to do. Sweeps are typically a little bit more efficient. To waste all that on 2 points, and especially to waste all that for something where somebody can get, into a guard and then tap you with a triangle. That's really the only part that you're missing from it. But I feel like a lot of guys are coming for the jits and less of the takedowns anyway. I mean, the takedowns are fun when you see a big one, but I don't really look to a lot of jits guys for high flying takedowns anyway. So I think it's smart that the way that they're trying to incentivize it. And I think it's also smart what they're doing with the pay structure to try and incentivize the win.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So should we be expecting you to like be handing us an envelope that, like you're going to call your shot for the weekend at all?
Aaron wants a spazzing toe hold from you.
That's gonna be toe hold.
A spazzing toe hold, $100. That's what Aaron's paying for every spazzing toe hold submission.
I'm telling you, I wish if there were heel hooks allowed, I would hand a heel hook envelope. I'm keeping it open. I'm really dynamic. I mean, I'm a hard guy to tap. I got thrown into like a high elbow guillotine, a fully locked Kimura, a triangle, a rear naked choke. I escaped all of them. I have submission wins from upper body, lower body, heel hook, Kimura, triangle, rear naked choke, collar choke. So I'm just going to keep it open. I'm the kind of guy who like, I'm going to make you think about something. And then while you're thinking about that and while I'm putting on that pressure, I'm going to attack what your mind is not on at that given moment. So people are going to constantly have to worry about their limbs. I'm going to make them want to get out of positions. I'm going to put on heavy pressure on the hips, on the face, on the shoulders. And when they panic, I'm going to go for the limbs or the throat, whatever opens it up to me.
I love it. You know what? I think he's putting everybody on notice. Put some fucking street cred here. And it's like, put some respect on this fucking name.
Put some respect on his name.
Like, fuck. Nobody's
I'm a little angry. I don't know why. And here's the thing. I don't want to go in and be disrespectful. Obviously, like,
no, I get it.
You know, yeah.
Come on, cut a promo right now. Be like, put some respect on my name. What's going on? This is you're here to hype yourself up. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Honestly, I think I'm going to go in. I'm going to bully the guys who aren't ready for the pressure. And I'm going to blow through anybody who's going to try to be passive. I'm going to constantly put unrelenting pressure on them. I'm going in there to get finishes. I'm not going in there to stall and wait for points. Anything like that. Anything that isn't a sub is unsatisfying to me. So that's why I'm looking to put on all the opponents.
I love it. I love it. That's what we wanted. This is what we were trying to get out of people.
It took like 16 interviews, but
God damn it.
Eric's bringing the smoke. That's what he's bringing.
Yeah, I love it.
The smoke from Spirit Leaf Waterdown, Aaron, located at
64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario.
Beautiful. Alex and his crew they bring the smoke as well. You can get all your CBD, THC, anything you need. 64 Hamilton Street. Where's your academy located, Eric?
My academy is in Brantford, Ontario. It's called Infinite BJJ. We've been growing over the past few years. We actually, you know, I'm just like real talk to all the academy owners out there and all the ones who survived the old pandy over the past 2 years. It's been a rough go. I actually signed a 5-year lease to expand my location on March 1st, 2020.
Oh, and then, motherfucker.
Yeah. So
you timed that one great.
So this is the case is I think anybody who's seen me compete pre-pandemic doesn't know the me post-pandemic. There was a switch that flipped for me. I'm looking to take I've been trying very hard to try to take an MMA fight by the end of this year, if not for sure next year. I've been training MMA twice a week, no gi, lots of wrestling. And there's something about that MMA training that has changed the game for me. I think my biggest weakness is that I do so much no gi, but my biggest strength is that I do so much no gi because it's a lot more hard nosed, a lot faster paced. And now I'm used to strikes. I'm used to wrestling. I'm used to a level of cardio and intensity that can sometimes go away in gi jiu-jitsu because we could just kind of, you know, we sit there with a lasso grip and we hang on for 3 minutes to get our gas back. I'm not about that life anymore. So silver lining of those past 2 years after surviving everything, it's time to put on a show for people.
Eric wants the smoke. You heard it here first.
Yeah, no, I love it. Eric, any last thoughts before we branch off for tonight, and then we'll see you next week?
Honestly, we need more of these in Ontario. And the only thing I got to say, I know this is for the Ace Pro. I very much miss the Parabellum Quintet. If we can get something like this, a little bit more no-gi in a, Burlington, Hamilton, Oakville area, I'm all for it.
I love it. No, it's awesome. Eric, it's been a pleasure having you on. We really do appreciate you coming onto the show and giving us cutting that promo. Thank you fucking God. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love PJ and I love Greg, but as soon as they start, respect this guy so much. I respect this guy so much. I'm like, fucking Christ. Can you guys say something about each other?
I'm not about that life. I respect these guys, but I'm coming to beat them hands down.
Thank you.
There we go. That's what we wanted.
That's what we wanted.
It took 10 podcasts of hyping up the show, but it finally happened.
Excellent. Everybody, just remember August 14th, next week in Toronto, Ontario, the Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro Cup. We got Eric. He's taking it. He's taking the main event. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Eric.